Hey, beautiful people. I'm so excited about today's live. I have so much to share. Yesterday was crazy. Today is insane. Magic is happening. What do I have to share today? I want to share with you how I turned my vulnerability into my superpower. And this literally happened yesterday. Of course, it happens throughout my life and throughout our lives. It's an ongoing journey. But this happened yesterday and it was so huge and magical and it unlocked so many things and it opened so many doors that I really wanted to share this with you. So yesterday I made a live sharing that I got a little bit uncomfortable in a situation and I cried in the live and I was super vulnerable and transparent, sharing my trigger and emotion. And so I created both a podcast episode and Instagram live where I was crying and sharing my trigger and my experience and all of that. And after I shared the live, I was like, okay, wait. Should I post this? Do I want to post it? Do I want to keep it there or do I want to delete it? What do I feel about this? What is coming up? So I stayed there with myself and I tuned in and I was like, okay, why do I want to delete this? And I could see all these thoughts and all these emotions like, oh, it's not professional. Like I'm too vulnerable sharing my emotions. I'm triggered and people will see that I'm triggered. And people will not take me seriously. People will judge, blah, 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 blah. And then I tuned into, why do I want to keep this? And when I asked that, for a moment, everything went silent. And I just got this light bulb moment, which was like, of course, I'm going to keep it. Because that's literally what I am all about. I am all about sharing authentically, vulnerably, transparently. This has always been one of my greatest values for myself and my personal life and also in my business and in everything that I share on social media. So when I realized that, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the code. This is why like this whole situation needed to come up because it brought up all these things for me to reorganize and alchemize within my field and within myself. And then it was like, of course I'm going to keep it. Of course it's uncomfortable. Of course it's cringy. Of course most people wouldn't dare to post a video like that. Of course people will judge. Of course people will have different opinions. But as soon as I decided to keep it, like my energy shifted and I could like move on from that energetic bubble that I was in. And then I was like, oh, something just clicked, something just happened. And then what, like, there was this freedom inside of me that is like, oh yeah, I expressed something. It was cringy. It was uncomfortable. People might think what they think and have their own opinions and judgments. But I did it. And now that it's done, I'm already creating something else. And because I decided that, like, to keep it there, as soon as I had this download, I had this light bulb moment, all of a sudden, please let me know if this happens to you as well, without giving it any thought whatsoever, I just started posting on my stories on Instagram, all these stories, and I'm like, wow, it's just pouring through. It's like, I wasn't thinking about it. I did not try to write that. I did not think what I was writing. It's like when you're writing, like, how do you call it? Like channeled writing or like, you know, like when you're just writing freely and things just come up where it's not like you thinking about it. Hey sister, welcome. And so as soon as I like moved past it and I accepted like, yeah, I'm going to keep that live there. People can think whatever they think. I already moved on. Like it's good. It's all okay. It's part of the journey of being human and authentic and transparent. And I started creating these stories. And after creating and also while I was creating these stories, I just grabbed my microphone and I recorded a whole new practice inside the activation membership that is like this somatic practice of turning your vulnerability into your superpower, because it was literally so embodied and alive within me, because I have just done it. I had just gone through it myself. So it was so alive. I just grabbed the microphone and I start channeling this practice, and it just came through so easily and naturally. And then like I realized that this practice, like as I was like sharing, like verbally speaking the practice into existence, I realized that this practice was different from the other somatic practices I had already created for the membership. So this practice was not just birthed from that situation, that uncomfortable situation that I went through, that I shared. I not only birthed that new practice, I also birthed a whole new module inside the activation membership, a whole new somatic module that is called embodied content. And this is literally what I am all about sharing authentically, vulnerably, transparently, about being ourselves and sharing our magic and sharing our perspective and owning that. It doesn't have to be so hard, because when it's embodied, just flows naturally, which is again exactly what happened with me. And I love when this happens. Like most or all my creations are birthed like this. It's not me like who strategizes or like thinks like I'm gonna create this course about this thing and I'm gonna create this practice for this reason and this is how I'm gonna plan it and structure it. Like that's not how it happens for me. I feel something and like I just become like this vessel, and it's literally like I am impregnated from whatever with the download, and I just become open and it just literally bursts through me. So through that experience, I not only created a podcast episode and an Instagram live where yes, I was cringy and crying and uncomfortable there. And I also created not just a whole new somatic practice. I didn't create it, I channeled it. But I also channeled a whole new module inside the activation membership, which is called the embodied content. This is where we do somatic practices to create embodied content. It's kind of self-explanatory. And this is especially for people who are wanting to show up more on social media, whether you have an online business or not. You want to express more so you can find your tribe, because if you're hiding, it's kind of hard to find you. But if you're showing up and you're sharing yourself, it's much easier to find you. So these are practices that have 3 ingredients on them. And like, this is not something I planned. This is not something I thought of. It's not something like it just happened in that practice that I created yesterday. And then I realized that, yeah, this is probably what all practices will look. So it's made of 3 parts, these somatic practices. And this is what makes them different from the other practices. It starts with a somatic practice, meaning a somatic experience, where we're not meditating or visualizing or getting out of the body. We're descending from the mind into the body and allowing our body to move and show us something that maybe we are not seeing. Because when we descend from the mind into the body shows us what's in our unconscious. And so it's like a theater or a constellation that happens by itself, just by us dropping down into our bodies. So there is a somatic practice where we go into our bodies and have this guided practice. Then we have somatic journaling, where we then journal somatically without thinking about it. We just share and write about what we saw and what happened with our body during the practice. And then, and this is my favorite, and this is why it's embodied content, the 3rd part of the exercise is where you take an aligned action, an embodied action. So after you do the practice and you do your journaling, like a lot comes up, and there's a lot of clarity, a lot of liberation. Every time I do these practices, like a lot of things shift and move, and like there's just so much clarity, like, oh, that's why that was happening. That's why that wasn't happening. That's why I feel like this. Oh, wow. And like the body tells a story that sometimes we cannot see consciously just with our mind. So the third part of this practice is when we take embodied action. So after you do the exercise and the journaling, you are invited and inspired to create a piece of content for your social media that embodies that which you just experienced in the practice. So for example, yesterday, the first practice that we did, that I created yesterday, is about turning your vulnerability from a weakness into a superpower. And so the practice is about that, and the embodied content that you would create would be about that. How can you share something about yourself where you would feel like sharing yourself in that way so vulnerably felt like a weakness, like you were not protected, like you was unprofessional, like it felt like a weakness. What's the word? Like, what's the other word I'm looking for? Okay, I'm not finding the word right now, but like the opposite of a strength, like it was something that you, the word is not coming to me right now, but that's okay. Instead of seeing it like a weakness, how can you share yourself vulnerably and turning that into your superpower? Because when you're showing up authentically, I feel you and we can find each other. And things move differently when we are free to just express. And this is where the magic happens, is when you create embodied content, it's so easy and natural to just speak, to create, because it's alive within you. This is why I just come live. Like I come live every day and just press the button, and I don't know ever what I'm going to be talking about unless I know just a few seconds or minutes before I press the button. Sometimes I literally like press a button with no idea of what I'm going to be talking about. But because it's embodied in me, it's alive in me, just comes through naturally. This is what embodied content means, is that it's alive in you. It's what you're experiencing. It's what you're feeling. So because of that, it's so natural for you to talk about it. It's so natural for you to create a post about it, a reel about it, to write something about it, to dance something with it, to create a piece of art with it, to go live and talk about that, to create a podcast episode about that, whatever it is for you. When it's embodied, it flows naturally. When it's embodied, it's channeled. And that is the magic. That is the magic that is happening right now inside the Activation membership. Like, things are going kind of crazy there because it feels like every day so much is like pouring out of me. And like, I'm just birthing and creating so much. And I'm like just pouring and pouring into the Activation membership and the members so much. So yesterday, what happened? We not only created a new somatic practice and a whole new module of practices that I will keep sharing and creating, but also I birthed a new course program that is called Not So Spiritual Spirituality, Navigating Spiritual Paradoxes. Because guess what? In case you haven't noticed, spirituality is absolutely full of paradoxes. Life is full of paradoxes. And sometimes it's like love and light. Sometimes it's the shadow work. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. But when you go too much into one polarity or the other, things get kind of weird. But once you learn to balance and harmonize all the paradoxes of spirituality, of life, because it's not just spirituality, it's life itself is paradoxical. So let me be the one to talk about it. And I've shared this before. I think last year or whenever I created the Not So Spiritual podcast, and I never shared it because I was like, this is kind of too much. This is going to trigger so many people. Maybe I shouldn't post it. So if you're curious about that, let me know. And I can also offer that inside the Activation membership, the Not So Spiritual podcast, which I probably will. I just need to edit the episodes and just put it up there. So maybe this is just another light bulb moment for me to actually do that. If you're interested in that, comment below and let me know. But yeah, so I birthed that practice, a whole new module, a whole new course program. This all happened yesterday. as soon as I moved past the discomfort of the emotions that I was feeling, all this creativity was available to me for me to channel and create. So we birthed also the not so spirituality. And I also already uploaded the first masterclass that is called From Spiritual to Human, where I'm sharing my journey from spiritual transcendence into spiritual embodiment. And you guys, it's a good one. The story of that masterclass is the story of how the Activation membership actually came to be, which I already shared inside the Activation membership podcast. So if you are inside, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, what are you waiting for? And something else that was birthed also, not yesterday, but today. So today we officially launched our Activation podcast on Spotify. It's, how do you say, locked, meaning that it's only accessible for members of the Activation membership. So we also have, and this is not just any podcast, this is a daily podcast where I daily share these audio activations with you. So it's like things are taking like a whole new level. So if you have been waiting to join us inside the Activation membership and you're wondering like, what is it about? Like, what is there? Like, what are you doing there? There's so much we do there. So we do a new moon and a full moon ceremony every single month. We gather together to connect with each other and share our triggers and our intentions and our activations and collaborate. We literally do collaborations with each other. We have the Activation podcast where every day I share an activation audio with you. We have, I don't know how many courses we have there at this point. I think we have 3 courses there and another one coming, but that's a secret for now. And we also have our meditation temple where I share all these meditations. We have our somatic practices where I share many different types of somatic practices. Now we just opened the embodied content. Now we're also going to be focusing more on the business side of things. So I'm going to create a whole module and course focus on spiritual business and how to create your business, how to structure your business, how to scale your business, how to share your offers, how to do all of that. And what else? Like, there's so much there. It's crazy. Yeah, we have, I have other surprises as well. We have like the light language temple that is also being birthed. We have so much being birthed. Like, this is like, if you like what I share here, what I share there is like a whole other level of me and of teachings and shares. So if you like my lives, if you like my YouTube channel, if you like watching me on Instagram, the Activation membership is like the sacred space I created outside of social media. So with social media, we can only go so far, right? This is how you find me. We find each other through social media, but then it's like I create this safe space for us to go much deeper into our own activation and into activating each other. Because that's what happens. When you are activated, you activate others. And also when you activate others, you activate yourself. And we literally, by being together in the same space, our energies and our energy feels like are weaving and co-weaving together. So we are literally activating each other. So if you've been wanting to join us now. The price is going to go up very soon because like it's insane the amount of value and resources and like energy that is poured there. This is literally our sacred online space and the price is going to go up very soon. I'm going to let you know when soon as well, not for now, but the price is going to go up. It's super cheap now. It's $33 or 33 euros, which is literally nothing. There's like 3 or 4,000, no, I think 4,000 or more euros and dollars of resources there. Like, it's insane. And you also get to connect with me one-on-one, and you also get to like ask for what practices you want me to create and dive deeper into. It's magic. It's literally activation. And also when I was birthing it, I was like, what would be like a good name to call my sacred space? And it's like, oh, activation. And I'm like, Oh, okay, I feel activated by that word itself. So yeah, if you want to join us now. It's super cheap, it's super affordable right now. The price is gonna go up, so you don't want to miss this opportunity, I think, because we're taking things to a whole other level. And the sooner you join, the cheaper it is, and the more resources you get to experience. And whenever you feel like joining, you're most welcome. This is our sacred space, and I will keep pouring into this more and more every single day. This is like my new favorite thing now. Like, I love coaching, like group coaching and private coaching, but like, this is like, it's creating like this whole online sacred space and container. And soon I will also create those spaces like in person, like creating like buildings and villages. No, is that the word? Villas and places, like physical places for us to connect and gather and activate. But for now, it stays in the online place. So this is where I'm pouring all my love and all my energy into. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. Join us. Like, it's so epic there. Like, there's so much love, so much activation going on. And like, you come out, and when you, if you ever, like, you can stay with us forever, and we keep activating each other for life, and you can stay as long as you want. Or if you want to leave, you will get out of there a different, more activated person, like, for sure. So I'm really excited to share that with you and to keep activating each other and sharing more practices. And right now, like, I have already like 2 other practices that just came to me today and yesterday and today, that I'm going to share as somatic practices for business coaches and entrepreneurs and healers and spiritual people. And I'm so excited to share that with you. But for now, I'm going to keep it a secret. And yeah, that's all I want to share with you today. Like, it's so alive, it's so like activated within me to create embodied content. When you're embodied, it's so easy. And then you realize that you don't need to look professional to have a successful business. You don't need to look professional for people to benefit from what you have to share. Like, you don't, like, what does that mean? There's so many ways to share. And one of my values that I shared before is authenticity. And you can build your whole business, and your whole entrepreneurship journey can revolve and blossom around you being yourself. You don't need to pretend to be anything that you're not. You don't need to try to do it the way I'm doing it or the way someone else is doing it. We all have our unique ways. And people are magnetized to us because we are being ourselves. And once you're creating from that space, from that embodied space, people just get magnetized to you. And creating, it's so much easier. And also, the way you are so embodied and activated also activates your clients and the people that come to you. So it's pretty epic right now, and I'm so excited to share this with you. And I guess that's all for today. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bless you, bless you, bless you.